Jubilee Circle's mission is different. If anybody has ever watched our live streams, if you have ever been to one of our celebrations in person, you know we're different. We are not like any church out there. We're not like any other spiritual community. Jubilee Circle, this is a spiritual dojo. This is the place where people come. They learn the inner moves. They learn the tools that they need to become the light of the world, to remember who they are, to remember that they are the light of the world and that their function in this world is to go out and be that light every single day. We are here to offer you the tools that you need to transform yourself, to expand yourself, to understand that you are the light of the world. You are the unlimited vastness of the holy. And we can help you connect. And we can help you find a community where you can grow and you can be transformed and you can transform the world. And we're live, yay! Welcome to Jubilee Circle this morning. We have rowdy recalcitrants here in the building, yay! And if you want to be one of them, please come on down. 6729 Dunot Road. If you are local, come and join us. But we thank you for joining us virtually as well. So good morning, everyone. And this morning, happy Father's Day to those who are daddies and those who have heard Who's Your Daddy. Happy Father's Day to everyone who celebrates today. We probably would not be here without you. This morning, probably. I don't know, they're Petri dishes and stuff. Who knows? This morning, we are wrapping up our Via Transformativa theme of the Great Light. All throughout this quarter, we have been exploring the truth about ourselves, that we are created of and in light to be the light of the world, and that we are always surrounded by this great light of the holy that invites us to live into that higher divine identity. But, you know, we most often forget the truth about ourselves because we allow the ego to convince us that we are guilty, that we have, just by our very existence, offended God in some way, or worse, we are responsible for God's death by our disobedience and our sinfulness. And this jubilance is the cause of the trauma that is felt by the whole human race. At a molecular level, it convinces us that we are separate from God, that we're separate from each other, and most of all, that we're separate from ourselves. And we get so caught up in the ego's belief in a million problems, traumas, and neuroses, and we believe that we are those things. We believe that our past dictates both our present and our future, and that jubilance is a lie. There is no separation. There is no angry, vengeful God, and none of us, even those who believe we believe to be the most evil in the world, none of us has ever committed a sin. The only sin any of us ever commit is believing that we are separate from one another. And that's not even a sin, though. That's just a mistake that needs a correction. And we correct that by remembering who we are. We are innocent children of God. And at the Miracle Distribution Center in California, one of the original organizations that was formed to teach A Course in Miracles back in the 70s, they have something that I love. They call it their Wall of Innocence. You can go to their website and see it. They invite people to send in pictures of themselves from when they were children, up to about age 5 or so. And this is a visual reminder they put them all up on the website, they put them on the wall at their center, and it's a visual reminder of our higher divine self, that pure, innocent, and beloved child of God. Before that tiny mad idea, as the Course calls it, that we're somehow separate from God and guilty of some original sin, crept into our existence. So this morning, I did ask, and I don't know if anybody did it, but I've asked you to bring a photo of yourself As a child, yes, some of you have it on your phones. And if you don't have one, you can form a mental picture, what you looked like as a kid. So here we are, these little innocent babes, I'm so cute. So we're these innocent little babes, and we're plopped down in this ego-driven world. And the adults around us, they're supposed to have our back. They're supposed to teach us the ropes. But instead, most often what they do is simply hand down their own guilt, their own neuroses, their own traumas to those of us who are young. And we just adopt those patterns as our own. Remembering who you truly are involves recognizing that those patterns, though they may have served you well as a survival technique for some part of your life, they don't represent who you truly are. You are not your limiting patterns. You are infinite. You are not a guilty, shameful sinner. You are innocent. You are not the darkness you may feel inside. You are the light of the world. You are not a mistake. You are God walking around in a flesh suit with a memory problem. You're not separate from God. You're not separate from others. You're not separate from yourself. You are unity embodied. You are an ocean in a drop. So today we're going to get back to that true home, to that true identity as innocent, light of the world, children of God that we really are. So I want you to take a moment, if you've got that picture, take a moment and just look in the eyes of that child, because we're going to reclaim that innocence that we have never truly lost. And when we do that, and we become such a bright light in this world, everyone's going to be saved. Oh, yeah. Please rise as you're able. And we begin every Jubilee circle as we do all of our celebrations by remembering the four elements: the fire, the earth, the water, and the air. And we burn sage as a reminder that this is a safe and a sacred time. And we orient ourselves in this safe and sacred time by calling the four directions.
Let us turn and face the east. The sun has no sense of guilt, Holy One, because it knows its true purpose. It is to give and give and give of the life-giving rays that makes up its existence. It never thinks about whether we are worthy to receive its warmth. Instead, it lives into its holy purpose, to shine, to be on fire with its very essence, and in that knowing, provide life to everyone it touches. Quarter turn to the right, and we face the south. The south has no sense of right and wrong, Holy One. We may judge the days to be too hot or too sticky or miserable, but the south brings its warmth in a spirit of generosity. It brings about the bounty of fruits and vegetables that thrive in its warmth. Let us give thanks for that bounty, as well as the sweat on our brows as we enjoy the south's generosity. Quarter turn to the right, and we face the west. The stars rising in the west each night, Holy One, have no ego to be bruised. They do not brood over slights, traumas, or disappointments. No matter what is happening around them, they simply shine. They allow their light to travel across the universe to be enjoyed, studied, and basked under by the humans who can perceive and receive their light. May we be like those twinkling stars, Holy One, emitting your infinite light across the universe. Quarter turn to the right, and we face the north. The chilly winds of the north blow without judgment, Holy One. They know their function is to bring frozen times in their season, to allow the land and seas to lie fallow and recover from harvest time. Help us to remember, Holy One, that we need silence. We need the still, frozen times to allow new growth to begin within our heart and mind, so that it can bloom and grow into the love you would have us harvest in this world. Turn back toward the center. Everyone in this room, and everyone watching us virtually from wherever you are, is innocent. Not one of us is a sinner, and we are not left to the wrath of an angry God. We are all innocent, infinite, beloved children of God who are here to remember this truth about ourselves. Jubilants, hear the good news this morning. You are the light of the world, meant to shine with love just like the sun and stars. Our function in this world is to bring love to life in every moment and see through the ego's lie that we are limited, separate, and guilty. When we can remember our higher divine self, even for a moment, we'll know it, because all we'll want to say is, oh yeah.
Please remain standing if you're in the building. We smoked it up in here. A boys' room? I don't care which one you use. All right. Oh,
Yeah.
there was one on the table back there. We may be out. If somebody can share, we can share them. All right. All right. We're working that out over there. All right.
Make some more.
So I have to print more bulletins. Yay!
Yeah.
Such a great problem to have. I love that. Bring me more problems like that. All right, so this morning we're going to start with a little bit of Simon and Garfunkel. Go. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked along narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp. I turned my collar to the cold and damp, when my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more, people talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, people writing songs that voices never share, and no one dared disturb the sound of silence. Fools, I said, you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words that I might teach you. Take my arms that I might reach you. But my words like silent raindrops fell and echoed in the wells of silence. And the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made, and the sun flashed out its warning in the words that it was forming, and the sign said the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls, and whispered in the sounds of silence. Oh, yeah. You may be seated. Wow, that was good, y'all. That will sound great out there. So nice to have voices singing back to us. All right, so welcome, everybody. A little bit about Jubilee Circle. We are an inclusive, progressive interfaith community here in Columbia, South Carolina, and we teach the timeless common wisdom of love and unity that is found in all mainstream religions and metaphysical philosophies, mysticism, and the teachings and writings of inspired secular and religious leaders throughout the ages. And we seek to create a space for everyone where they can transform spiritually, where they can find life's deeper meaning and learn how to love wastefully and engage the world peacefully and do justice, all in an effort to discover how we can all live into that higher divine self. And we also recognize that we are part of God's good creation. We are formed in love and in joy, but we humans, we're very forgetful. We are infinite spirit with in meat suits with a memory problem, and so we forget this. And so instead, we get lost in this world of paradox, and we encounter others as either beautiful or ugly, or good or bad, generous or stingy, good or loving, or recalcitrant. But let us remember our true function here, Jubilants, and that is to continually return to the home that we've never truly left while we seek to embody and become that open channel for love that created us all. Oh, yeah. Okay, a few announcements. Next Sunday, we're going to begin our Via Positiva theme. It's going to be called How I Wonder. So we're going to explore how a sense of wonder can help us create miracles and remember who we truly are, because that really is the whole purpose. And I've written a song just for this next sermon. So it's an original song, and it's all about the wonder of you. The wonder of you. So join us next Sunday. This Tuesday, June 22nd at 6:30, we will continue our Jubilee Circle Book Club. We are reading Martha Beck's new book called The Way of Integrity. And so we will meet at 6:30 on Tuesday, either here or out there in virtual land. And we will be doing Chapter 5 this week. So if you've been meaning to jump in, Chapter 5, we're not too far in the book, so we can catch you up if you want to join us. Our first Friday open mic on July 2nd will feature Josh McGill, and he will begin at 7. Open mic begins at 8. Since it's the July 4th weekend, we invite you to bring protest songs. You don't have to, but, you know, it's July 4th weekend, and we want to celebrate our freedom, and the freedom to protest is one of them. So please join us. And we've got other stuff coming up in the coming months. Tamara Miles and Carolyn Gregory are working on some spiritual tools classes, ways to enhance your spirituality and give you tools for spiritual growth. And that's coming up hopefully in July and August. And then we're working on, it's going to happen, a 2-day meditation retreat, maybe in September. So that'll be 2 days, like a Saturday, most of Saturday, and a Sunday afternoon, and do a lot of spiritual meditation and working on some spiritual growth there. All right. When is Tomorrow Quest? 31st. The 31st. That's a Saturday? 30th. Are they on a Friday or a Saturday?
Last Saturday in July.
Okay, so that's the 31st. Okay. July 31st, a Tomorrow Quest show at 7-ish? 7? Okay. Details to follow. Time is an illusion, right?
Although in this instance, if you come too late, you'll miss it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Saturday is the 31st.
Saturday is, that's what I thought. Is there something else I'm missing?
I mean, I can mention the eavesdropping.
Oh, sure, yeah. Yeah.
So at the last performance of the NEA Company's eavesdropping show is this coming Saturday the 26th at 9 p.m. It is an out-of-door show at Duke Avenue, 1031 Duke Avenue. Yeah.
It starts at 9 next Saturday, and are you doing the holla in the morning?
Yeah, for families, if you're interested, or if you're just in a silly mood and you want to come, that'd be great, because it's a really silly show at 10 in the morning. Same location. Great for the kids, but also great for people who just want to feel goofy for a minute.
Yeah. So at 10 o'clock is a holla. Okay. All right. Is that it? Okay. Hear these wise and ancient holy words.
I don't know if these were ancient. These came like 1960.
Yeah. Well, for some people, that is ancient.
From A Course in Miracles, Chapter 9. The ego has a plan of forgiveness because you are asking for one, though not of the right teacher. The ego's plan, of course, makes no sense and will not work. By following its plan, you will merely place yourself in an impossible situation to which the ego always leads you. The ego's plan is to have you see error clearly first and then overlook it. Yet, how can you overlook what you have made real? By seeing it clearly, you have made it real and cannot overlook it. This is where the ego is forced to appeal to mysteries, insisting that you must accept the meaningless to save yourself. Many have tried to do this in my name, forgetting that my words make perfect sense because they come from God. They are as sensible now as they ever were because they speak of ideas that are eternal. Forgiveness that is learned of me does not use fear to undo fear. nor does it make real the unreal and then destroy it. Forgiveness through the Holy Spirit lies simply in looking beyond error from the beginning, and thus keeping it unreal for you. Do not let any belief in its realness enter your mind, or you will also believe that you must undo what you have made in order to be forgiven. What has no effect does not exist, and to the Holy Spirit the effects of error are non-existent. By steadily and consistently canceling out all of its effects, everywhere and in all respects, he teaches that the ego does not exist and proves it.
Thanks be to the Holy. All creation is holy word. All creation speaks volumes of the holy. Hallelujah. Let's stand and sing, and remember, it's been over a year, so people forget that this is a hugging song. This is our greeting song. So if you want to hug. If you don't want hugs, put your hands up and or offer an elbow or whatever. However y'all want to approach yourself. But this is a song where you can take the time to say hi to each other. Here we go.
Or just dance.
Or just dance. 2, 3. Bumper sticker someplace. So you don't mind if I kiss you now. We may hear the angels recite. Don't you know in this new dark age we're all light? And I won't take from you what you take from me, and I'll leave nothing here that you can't use on your trip. I won't take from you what you can't take from me, and I'll leave nothing here but love and milk of plenty for your tea. Yeah. Don't you know in this new dark age we're all light? We're all light. Oh, yeah.
I was having a hard time
Woo.
playing it and singing because I was like, oh.
That was some hugging.
God, it's been so long.
That was that. If you y'all.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This was. I mean, this was. Wow. That was just like an orgy of hugging out there. It was beautiful. That was a beautiful thing. Said it was like. It was a. That was exuberant. That was it. There was some exuberant hugging going on over there. So, thank you. Which one? Oh, Jim? All right. All right. Oh, yes. All right. So we're doing things a little bit differently. I mean, if y'all want to sit out there, the musicians are excused. We're going to do things a little bit differently today. There's no sermon song. Sorry. Well, some people you can't please everybody. Some people love the music. Other people are like, God, there's too much music. So. Last week we did. Things were a little bit off. But anyway.
All the great bands started in garages.
That's it. All great bands started in garages. Even some great computer companies started in garages. So, so there you go.
I need his setup over there.
Oh, yeah. Keith is in his nap spot. So. Okay, so this exercise actually has some it has some you got to do a little bit of thinking up front, okay? So I want you, in this moment, to think about some limiting beliefs that you hold about yourself. The list can be whatever pops to mind, things such as feeling unseen, a pattern of not having enough money, patterns of feeling lost or sad or afraid or inadequate, patterns of feeling abandoned or unloved. Okay? Think about those. I mean, the list can be endless since the person we treat the most harshly in our world is most often ourselves, right? Right. So I want to give you a minute to think about some of the patterns that you have seen that limit you. That if you weren't like this, your world would have more opportunities. Or you feel like there would be more opportunities. You wouldn't be living small anymore. You'd be living large without these limiting patterns. So just bring to mind a few of those. And after you bring a few up, I want you to look at that picture that you have or bring to mind that mental image of that child that you were. We've all been incarnated in different bodies. We've started as little tiny things and we grew bigger and bigger and bigger. And we'll become other incarnations. But we want to go back to this one right now, in this moment. My own picture, you can't see it from here, but my own picture, it's my last photo shoot as a long-haired child. Never had this much hair ever again. I was about 5 years old. I'm beaming with joy here. The smile is wide and happy. My eyes are even smiling. I was this giddy kid, you know. Here I am at Olin Mills getting all this attention from all of these adults, and they're just trying to tell me to smile, and they're making me happy. I was being memorialized in pictures. My first grade picture, by contrast, presents a frowning girl with this closely cropped haircut. There I was, just looking very sad. No hair left. So what happened in between this picture and that one? Trauma. Because we all experience it. Whether it's seemingly small things like feeling ignored or larger traumas that make us feel unloved, unappreciated, abandoned, even abused by the adults in our lives that we are trusting to show us the way. Our early years on this earth, they can be mind-numbingly confusing. I mean, we don't know the rules in this strange place. We've been plopped here with no guidebook. And those that are already here that we rely on for guidance, they're still trying to figure things out too. And so often they're impatient. Sometimes they're violent towards us. When we ask questions, we're just seeking knowledge. We just want to know how things are supposed to work around here. But we get traumatized in the process. And we've all grown up with some sort of trauma. And it remains stuck in our bodies. And these are the patterns that we repeat, whether they become addictions to substances or other activities. They become how we handle situations, whether we confront them or we withdraw, or whether we avoid or actually deal with our emotions. These are the patterns, and we learn them early in our lives, and we continue to replay them even today. Basically what we're doing is we're allowing the 5-year-old kid to run our lives because we're still living by the rules of survival that we learned at this tender, tender age. All these beliefs, they keep us limited. They keep us closed to the truth about ourselves. We are not our patterns. We may have made these patterns our identities in some way, but they're not who we truly are. I spent the majority of my younger years identifying as an angry, cynical person. That wasn't who I was. It was just the technique I learned. I learned that that's how you deal with life. Anger and cynicism, that's all that was modeled in my house. This is how you deal with life. This was what my guides taught me. The truth about all of us is this. We are the light of the world. We are infinite spiritual beings having a finite experience in this bodily world. We are nothing but expansive, unlimited energy crammed into a meat suit with the one function to remember who we are, to remember that we are the vastness and not the limited being. And we do that by identifying and giving up our limiting patterns and beliefs. And we don't do that, however, by fixing ourselves or seeking to rid ourselves of our flaws. We remember who we are simply by relaxing and allowing those old patterns, when they come up, allowing them a safe place to be seen, to be heard, to be loved, and finally to be healed and released. A Course in Miracles says when trauma in the body begins to arise, we need do nothing. And that doesn't mean that we ignore or avoid our patterns. Instead, the Course instructs in Chapter 18, to do nothing is to rest and to make a place within you where the activity of the body ceases to demand attention. In this place, the Holy Spirit comes and there abides. In this place, that's where the Holy Spirit makes room for us to lovingly abide with every past trauma, every pattern that comes up. And you don't have to go looking for them. They come on up on their own. Something will trigger you down the road, or maybe in the next few minutes. Maybe I've already triggered you in some way. So they're here, those old patterns. And so we make room for them. This is what the Course means by forgiveness. We cannot use fear to undo fear, the Course says in Chapter 9. We do that when we make a trauma or offense real, by seeking to identify its cause or who to blame for the creation of the pattern. Spoiler alert, it's your parents. Most often. Instead of seeking to make a trauma real and then overlook it or overcome it, the Course says we have to look beyond the error from the beginning and keep the trauma unreal, because in capital R reality, none of this has ever really happened anyway, not to our higher divine self. So when we try to overcome or transcend our wounds or traumas or try to fix ourselves in any way, we give these wounds and traumas power over us that they do not innately have, and that is what it means to make them real. To give them power over us, to let them run our lives, to become the guiding patterns by which we live and structure our lives and build our identities. Convincing us that we have to overcome some past hurt is how the ego keeps us from healing and releasing our pain. We always say, I'm working on it. I'm in progress. No, you're not. You're perfect right now. You're not in progress. None of us are in progress. None of us have anything to work on. We've got a lot to allow and release, but there's nothing to fix. There's nothing to get better. But the ego wants you to think so because it wants to keep those things. Because if it keeps those things, it keeps you thinking it's in charge. In that capital R reality, though, we need do nothing but relax in this safe, non-judgmental place that the Holy Spirit provides with us, within each of us. This is the place of peace that passes the ego's understanding, and it's where we must go when these patterns and traumas arise. When we're a kid and we make innocent mistakes, and some adult, be it our parent or teacher or other authority figure, would yell at us or even hit us, we're traumatized in some way. And our ego wants us to repeat the pattern instead of loving that hurting child. The ego wants to say to us, what are we going to do with you? What are we going to do with you? How are we going to fix you? This is not about fixing anything. This is about allowing space for the places in yourself that feel unloved, that feel unseen, that feel disregarded. Cece's dreaming. Just allow it, baby. It'll be all right. So look at that picture again. Stare into the eyes of that child. Because all they want from you is love. All this child desires is peace and joy and freedom, just like you. But here's the thing. You have the power to give that inner child all of that peace right now. Your past is a fiction anyway. None of that trauma that happened back then is happening right now. So let's not live in it right now. Let it go. Look at the reality of yourself in that picture. Pure and innocent and loved and loving, yearning even now to reassure you that this is who you truly are. So I want to take a few moments in silence. I want us to breathe. And as we breathe in this space, I invite you. You can look at this. You don't have to close your eyes if you want to look at this picture. So take a few moments. Breathe in the innocence of your true divine child of God. And as you breathe out the patterns that have kept you feeling limited, that have kept you feeling small and separate. So we breathe in our innocence, and we breathe out our resistance to our higher divine self. We breathe in our innocence, we breathe out our limitations, releasing those patterns that would keep us stuck. I want to remind you that you can't do this incorrectly. There is no wrong way to meditate. Sometimes our minds go off in different directions. In this meditation, we're not trying to corral the mind. Let it go. Let it do whatever it's going to do. If it needs to scamper down memory lane, that's fine. If it needs to think about lunch, that's fine. If it needs to think about whatever you're going to do after this, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. What we're learning to do is allow. What we're learning to do is to simply make that space. That place where we need do nothing. This is not about doing anything. This is about allowing whatever is there to be there. And if all you have is monkey mind, just allow it to run around. Let it have its freedom. This is not about controlling thoughts. This is not about emptying your mind. Maybe this is the first time you noticed it's kind of noisy up there. Just notice it. Allow it to be what it is in the silence. invite you to breathe deeply. Bring your consciousness back into this room, in this present moment. I did this meditation myself a few weeks ago, and I wept for the first time in a really long time because I finally could see that I had created an unsafe space within myself for my inner child. I talked to her in ways I would never, ever talk to a human being outside of myself. I would never call anyone the names I call myself. Stupid, ugly, awful, recalcitrant. So why would she risk being vulnerable with me when all I've ever done is yell at her, berate her, tell her how terrible and inadequate she is? Would you open yourself up to somebody like that? If that's who you lived with? I begged for her forgiveness. I felt like an abusive parent. I wanted her to know that that's not going to happen anymore. I looked at this picture. I saw the light in her eyes, that infinite light that is still within me. This is me. That light is still there. And I don't ever want to be the source of anything that would extinguish that brilliance, that beauty. All the traumas, all the hurt I have felt throughout my life. In that moment, I decided that they would be welcome in my body. I would feel them, cry them out, hold them gently, and tell them how much I love them. And that here they have a safe space to be expressed, to be seen, to be heard, to not feel abandoned. And if I do that long enough, if I can just allow all that trauma to be seen, eventually they'll go away. I won't need them anymore. I needed these patterns to survive. But once they're seen and healed, they go, you know what, I'm out of here. You don't need me anymore. I'm gone. We can all be released from our traumas if we're willing to simply allow them the space they need whenever they arise in our consciousness. If we make this a daily practice, perhaps even an hourly or moment-by-moment practice, sometimes they come fast and furious. Life comes at you fast. They can be healed. They can be released. So think again about the limiting patterns that you thought about at the beginning of this exercise. These are the patterns of trauma. These are the patterns of hurt and pain that are in your body. And when you feel them arising in your consciousness and they begin to play like one of your personal greatest hits mixtapes, because you know them, they come up, they got a great beat, easy to dance to. I invite you, instead of stuffing them down like maybe you usually do, or ignoring them, or yelling at them, relax, breathe deeply, and open your heart to them, even just a little bit, and tell that scared child within you that you are a safe space for them. Assure them that here they will not be judged, here they will not be suppressed, they will not be ignored. Instead, in this holy place of rest, they will be fully seen. They will be fully appreciated and heard and loved. I invite you to allow yourself to love even those parts that you may consider your most despicable traits. Because they're not you, they're just patterns in need of releasing. You are innocent. You are the light of the world. And if you can create this non-judgmental and loving space within yourself and just allow those patterns to just be there. You're not trying to fix them. You're not trying to deal with them. You're not trying to overcome them. If you simply be with them in a loving space, they will teach you their lessons. They will give you their wisdom. And then they will be healed. And then they will depart. You need do nothing. Oh, yeah. Paging the band. Ready? No. No, we are not ready. All right. Put the guitar on. Yeah, too many picks. All right, here we go. Two, three, four. Run to your dreaming when you're alone. Unplug the TV and turn off your phone. Get heavy on with digging your ditch. 'Cause I'm digging a ditch where madness gives a bit. Digging a ditch where silence lives. Digging a ditch for when I'm old. Digging this ditch my story's told. Where all these troubles, they're way down on me, will rise. Run to your dreaming when you're alone. Where all these questions spinning around my head will die. Will die. Will die. Run to your dreaming when you're alone. Unplug the TV and turn off your phone. Get heavy on with digging your ditch. 'Cause I'm digging a ditch where madness gives a bit. Digging a ditch where silence lives. Digging a ditch for when I'm through. Digging this ditch I'm digging for you. Where all these worries that wear down on me will rise. Where all these habits that pull heavy at my heart will die. Run to your dreaming when you're alone. Not what you should be or what you become. 'cause I'm digging a ditch where madness gives a bit. Digging a ditch where silence lives, where all these disappointments that grow angry out of me will rise. Will die. Will die. Will die into your dreaming when you're alone. Unplug the TV and turn off your phone. Get heavy on with digging your ditch. Oh, yeah. When that song first came out, I was in a record store and they had it playing on the speaker, and I stopped and I listened to this song. So I'm like, oh, that's Dave Matthews. I'm like, Dave wrote a song about meditation. Digging your ditch. All right. Hey, more silent time. Hope everyone enjoyed that today. I know that was brand new. Spring all that silence on you. Like being in timeout. All right, Bob, for you, yes. So here's a little more spiritual timeout for you. Oh, breathe deeply. I invite you in this time of reflection. Think about how I got there. I personified my inner child. You know, I imagined a 5-year-old me running around the house and how I usually talk to that child. You know, if there was a real child running around the house and I'm like, you idiot, blah, 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 you know. Really? Really? I'm going to talk to it. It helped. It helped to personify that child, to really think that child is running around here underneath me. Yeah, I might get irritated with her now and then, but I love that child. I want that child to grow and be and achieve all the dreams that she has. And I'm the one tasked with making that happen, of creating a world where that can happen for her. And that's all of us. Our inner child is just looking for the love that it maybe didn't get when it was physically that age. And we can still give that love to that child. So I invite you, look at that picture again. Think about those happy times when you were a child. And invite that kid to come out and play. Breathe deeply. understand now why the band was confused. I did things out of order. Sorry. We're like, what? Like, hey, we're supposed to sing now. But actually now, we'll talk about this little basket right here. This basket is where you learn the art or the truth that giving is receiving. It's all the same. We think that when we give stuff that we don't have, okay, well, I don't have that now. I gave it away. But what comes back to you is amazing. The more you give, the more stuff comes back. It may not come back in the same way. You know, you give money, you may not get money back, but you get other things of value. You get the feeling, the good feeling of giving. Hey, that's a good thing too. But there's a law of circulation in the world, just like the law of circulation in your body. And if some area of your body gets constricted and it's not flowing anymore, you tend to have a stroke. Those things are not good. We can't live our lives just breathing out. We got to breathe in sometimes. We can't live our lives just breathing in and taking things. We got to breathe out sometimes. And so the law of circulation is that we breathe in, we breathe out. That's the law of giving as well. Things come to us. Things flow back out through us. And the more open our channel, the more things can flow through us and back out of us. And it's not that we're left with nothing. I've heard it compared to a water in a pipe. The pipe is still wet. There's still water in the pipe. But if you're an open channel, most of that water is flowing out. But everything you still need is still here. So it's not, if I give, I don't have. You just got more on the way. And so what we're trying to do here at Jubilee Circle is create that spiritual dojo where we understand that we understand that we are that open channel. And the more we give, the more we receive. And the more we receive, the more we give, and vice versa. And so I invite you in that spirit of generosity to please support our ministry here. We are planning on doing a lot more arts and music and things that are coming up and spiritual workshops and educational workshops to learn more about spirituality and all of the other different religions that are out here, so we can increase our knowledge and know things, but also increase our capacity for compassion, our capacity for love, our capacity to be that light of the world that we all already are. So I invite you, you can give online at jubileecircle.com or through Venmo. We are at Jubilee Circle on Venmo. Or you can write an old-fashioned check, send it to our post office box, which is 4611 Columbia, South Carolina. And we will cash it, we promise. Eventually. And we will do our talkback session coming up next. We will be on Zoom and also here in the room. So if you want to stick around for our talkback session, where we talk a little bit about how things went over for us today, you're welcome to stay in the room or join us on the Zoom. That link is on our Facebook page or on jubileecircle.com. And if this is the last time we're seeing you for this week, I invite you to take the words of Meister Eckhart with you. If the only prayer you ever say in your entire life is thank you, that will be enough. And that is that part of generosity. We understand and we are grateful for that flow of circulation. And if I had music in front of me, it would be so much better. There it is. And you all are welcome to stand and dance and sing. We all walk together, hand in hand, side by side. We all walk together, arms and arms open wide. We make our way by walking, in love we will abide. The path is always open, and All right, y'all, have a great week. We'll see you next time around. And if you want to stay for the talk back, we'll hook the Zoom up here real quick. So talk amongst yourselves until we get there.